For decades, we really thought we knew how to do cybersecurity. We built walls. But what happens when the very idea of a wall just becomes obsolete? Okay, let's dive into this fundamental shift in how we think about security, a concept known as zero trust.
Wow. I mean, that is a powerful statement, and it gets right to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? For years, we all operated on this one simple principle: keep the bad guys out and everyone inside is automatically trusted. But as we're about to see, that single comforting lie is exactly why so many of today's security breaches happen.
So let's start by digging into why the old way of doing things, this whole fortress model, it just doesn't work anymore. It's fundamentally broken.
Right. So this is the classic castle and moat approach. You got your strong outer wall, that's your firewall, and a secure drawbridge, your VPN, to let trusted people in. And the whole assumption was, look, if you're inside the castle walls, you must be one of the good guys. Everything and everyone inside was just implicitly trusted. But that fortress, that's basically a pile of rubble now. And why? Because the world completely changed. You've got cloud computing, you've got people working from everywhere. There is no inside anymore. Your data, your applications, your users, they're all over the place. The very concept of a perimeter has just dissolved into thin air.
And this, right here, is the crucial point. Attackers have totally figured this out. They don't waste time trying to smash through the firewall like in the movies. No way. It's so much easier to just steal the keys to the kingdom, a password, a session token, and just waltz right in the front door. And once they're in, that old model treats them like a trusted employee, letting them move around and access whatever they want.
And the VPN, which was once the hero of remote access, is now a huge liability. First, you have the flat network problem. Once an attacker gets on the VPN, they're on the network. They can see everything, attack anything. Then there's the performance hit. I mean, we've all felt it, right? Routing all your traffic through one central hub is slow and clunky. And finally, VPNs are a black box. You're either in or you're out. There's no real insight into what people are actually doing once they're connected.
This chart just lays out the difference so perfectly. The old model, castle and moat, was all about implicit trust. You get checked once at the front door, and then you're free to roam the entire network. Zero trust completely flips that on its head. It's about verified trust, connecting you directly to a specific app, not the network, and it never stops checking that you are who you say you are.
So if the old rules are broken, what are the new ones? This brings us to the core philosophy of zero trust, and it's not just a product, it's a whole new foundation for security.
And this is it. This is the entire mindset shift all in one sentence. Zero trust doesn't just hope to keep attackers out. It assumes they are already inside. Every single user, every device, every connection, it's all treated as a potential threat until proven otherwise. I know it sounds paranoid, but in today's world, it's just plain realistic.
So the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, they break this philosophy down into 3 core pillars. First, continuous verification. You don't just get your ID checked at the front door. You get it checked every time you try to open any door inside the building. Second is least privileged access. This means if your job is in accounting, you get access to the finance software, but you literally can't even see that the engineering code exists. And third, assume breach. This means your focus shifts to containing an attack, limiting the damage, instead of just trying to prevent it in the first place.
Okay, so the philosophy makes sense, right? But how did this actually work in practice? How do you connect people to the things they need without just throwing the doors to your entire network wide open?
Well, the goal of what we call Zero Trust Network Access, or ZTNA, is to totally change the nature of the connection itself. Instead of putting a user on the network, you create a direct, secure bridge between that one user and only the one application they need. They never even touch the underlying network at all. Here's how that process actually works. So you, the user, you request access to an app. A service broker, think of it like a super smart digital bouncer, steps in. It verifies everything, not just your password, but the health of your device, your location, the context of your request, all of it. Only if everything checks out does it create a secure one-to-one tunnel just for you and that single app. This isolates you in your own tiny digital bubble, a technique we call microsegmentation.
And the result is what the source material calls a dark cloud. And that's such a great way to put it. Because to the user, and way more importantly, to an attacker who might have compromised that user's device, the rest of the company's digital stuff is completely invisible. It just doesn't exist, and you can't attack what you can't see. So all of this is leading to the single most important idea in this entire explainer. It's a complete redefinition of what a security perimeter even is anymore.
Let that sink in for a second. The border is no longer a physical place or a network location. The border is you, your identity. Security is wrapped around who you are, what device you're on, and how you're acting, not the building you happen to be sitting in.
So how does it do that? Well, it goes way, way beyond just checking a password. A ZTNA system is constantly analyzing dozens of different signals to understand the context of every single thing you do.
So what kind of signals are we talking about? Well, here are just a few. There's geolocation. It checks for impossible travel. I mean, you can't physically log in from London and then from Singapore 10 minutes later, right? There's device posture. Is your laptop secure? Is its operating system up to date, or is it riddled with malware? And it can even look at behavioral biometrics. It can tell if you're typing differently than usual, or if you suddenly start downloading 1,000 times more files than you normally do. All these signals build a dynamic picture of trust.
And the future of this is even more fascinating. Pretty soon, AI and machine learning will allow these systems to become autonomous. So if your behavior suddenly seems risky, the system won't just send an alert and wait for a human to notice. Nope, it'll automatically ramp up security, maybe by forcing you to use a fingerprint scan, or it'll just terminate your session on the spot, all in real time.
And that really just says it all, doesn't it? The old model was all about trying to keep attackers out. This new model, Zero Trust, it accepts the reality that they will probably get in, but it builds a system that's so segmented, so aware, and so intelligent that when they do get in, they find themselves trapped in a tiny digital room with absolutely nothing to steal and nowhere else to go. It's a complete and honestly unnecessary evolution for our hyper-connected world.